Hi everyone, Emma here. Take a look at what I made. So these are some of the items that were in the Curiosities box from John Bead. And this was for January number 6 called Glamour Goddess. And I had the square pressed glass. Well, I guess you'd call it lamp work, and it's got the gold inside. It turned out amazing. And these lovely little cubes were in the box as well. And then these gorgeous, I think these are 8mm. Let me grab one. There's one left out of all of the ones I used. So this was exactly what I wanted, and it turned out exactly how I wanted it. Sometimes it just happens that way, which is awesome. So these are 10mm. Wow, they're bigger than I thought. Yeah, so that's awesome. So what I did was I mentioned that I was going to do beaded chain, and this is what I mean by beaded chain. It's basically you're adding beads to connect different pieces of chain, and you create a metal connection with the bead, so you're putting it on chain kind of thing. And this turned out really lovely. So I just used some, let me see if I grabbed it here. I just used some head pins. I know some people mentioned to me before about using wire, like craft wire, like say something like this. And I think that's a great idea to make it cheaper so you're not, because these are quite expensive, the head pins. But I do find that, first of all, they don't have the color gold that I want. So if you know of that kind of a topaz like color gold rather than this high yellow, definitely. But the other thing too is this is soft and it bends really easily, so unless you're doing wire wrapping to each of your connections, I always worry that this is going to hook on something and it's going to pull. But with these head pins, they're super strong, so that's not going to happen. So these are 20 gauge and they're 1.5. They were the perfect length. Did I throw it out already? I did. So what I did was I measured out. I did one loop, and then I pulled it apart, measured it, used it for all the rest, and that worked perfectly. So I'm super glad that happened, that it worked out. And so let's take a closer look at this. So what I did was I wanted to create this kind of double pendant look to it. So, and I think mainly because I had these square cubes and I wanted them all in the same area as this lovely piece here. So I just connected it up here. And what I connected my chain with, so I have right here, these two jump rings are actually matte gold, and they're real gold jump rings. And then I used these 18 gauge. These actually look more, oh, that's not 18. Where am I? I'm down here. These here are 18 gauge, these jump rings. So I had some lovely 18 gauge to create the chain, because here's the thing. These here are Tierra cast hammered gold rounds, link ring small hammered gold, and I got these from John Bead in the recent unboxing that I showed you. But there's still shops that have supplies left of Tierra cast, so definitely take a look at just type in Tierra cast in whatever bead shop you buy your stuff, and you should be able to come up with some stuff. So I didn't have any nice chunky chain that would suit this. So what I did was, when I got to as far as say the neck and shoulders, where you're not going to be able to see these lovely hammered rounds. So then I just went ahead and made my own chain with those 18 gauge jump rings. And this is the clasp I put on. Now this is a little bit, you're going to need help getting this on and off, because this clasp here, first of all, this part here is gorgeous. Let's enlarge this. Whoa, too much. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? So this one I attached to this jump ring, that part there. But then this part here hooks on to your link. And you can also like go further if you want it shorter and just let that piece dangle. But it has a lock mechanism on it. So you open the lock and then this part clicks open and hinges. And these jump rings are so big they easily go over this knob. So I have some other ones that are tinier than this, but no, I had some other jump rings that were smaller. I wanted to use a extender chain, but of course, because it's got this little knob, you can't quite get it over the smaller links in a extender chain. So I just did it like this. So, and this just twisted around. I got this at BB Craft, in case you're wondering. I have some others that are better quality than this. This one I feel is a little junky now that I'm playing with it like that. You know, it's funny. I'm thinking about how you attach your bracelets and your necklaces. And I'm thinking most people have a partner that can do that. And I'm looking at this now and I'm thinking my wife would never be able to get that attached. And we both need glasses. So I guess I have to rethink my attachments to my necklaces. But so this turned out really lovely. And let me tell you this part here. So this part here, I am not happy with these attachments. I would prefer it to be beaded, and I was going to bead like I don't know, like a creeping vine in through this hammered and come out like that. But that would have taken me a long time, in the sense that maybe a few tries to get it right, that kind of thing. So I think this one just worked out fine. So what I did for this was I did as if I was starting a peyote circle. So like the Christmas wreaths we did, and the clasp for the flat chenille stitch, I did them for those. So I just basically did the outer circle. Now I measured it to the size of this disc. So it ended up being, normally I start in a circle of 40 beads for the peyote circle. This took 48. And then I slid it on here, and I actually just took a thread and strung it like my stop bead thread, and strung it through here so it stayed attached. The reason being, I wanted to make sure, like I did a couple of rows first and then put it on. I wanted to make sure my tension on my beads was not going to hinder it going on. So if I was too tight, and it wouldn't stay on. So that helped a lot, using the stop bead thread to kind of weave these together and then stitch. But you can see how I'm stunned actually now that I'm looking at it, because when I got to about here on each side. Of course, you're going in circles. So when I got up to about there, I just squeezed it together and found the sticking out beads to the indented beads. And I did just like you would to attach a peyote, a zip up thing. And you can like, if you look at these lines, they look perfect, like they were just stitched that way. I'm shocked. I shocked even myself. So that turned out pretty good. Yeah, like I said, I'm not happy with, thread showing and stuff like that, but it's still lovely. So this is the kind of stuff you can make with your bead box from John Bead. I'm so excited. Thank you so much, John Bead, for these lovely boxes and for sending one to me to play with. So stay tuned for the next project. I'm not sure which one we're going to do next, but I'm going to try and make it so that it's one we can do together. And yeah, we'll see what happens. Take care, everybody, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye.